Okay. Hello all. So yesterday we have discussed about table creation, what kind of tables we have in SAP. Okay. And after that, we'll be taking a new object today. So which is data type. The view and type groups will be taking one by one so that everything is clear because data type will be used in the view also and domain will also be used in the view. So we'll be taking on the sequence likewise. So what are data types? So data type are also called dictionary objects only. Okay. So which can be used to maintain the field label. So what is field labels? So yesterday we saw one table which we have created, right? So there we are getting field name itself, but we are not able to see the description, right? And what happens when we create the table maintenance generator for that, or we want to create some kind of report? Okay, like I'll say ALB report if I'm creating, and if I use that field in that report, what happens that description does not come on the header level. So to maintain that, we create a data element, so which helps us to give the proper description of that field. Okay, so we have already predefined uh, data elements, which I'll say like a maintainer. Okay, maintainer is nothing but a material document, material number. For that also we have data element. So this data element name is maintainer. Field name also it's maintainer. So if I'll go to this table, okay, which is Mara, and this is our field name called maintainer. But if you see here, the data element they have given a same name so that there will be no confusion while you are writing the code. So you can just give one to one likewise name. Somewhere you might see a different kind of name also that we'll see in the later part. So if I'll just see what's there in the maintainer. So here they have given the name as a maintainer. So as you already know that SAP has thing like A2 X they'll be using it as a SAP standard, and Y and G we can use as a custom one. So this is a standard starting with M. So we are not this is a SAP standard data element. If you want to create our own, then it will be starting with G or Y. Okay. And what does it hold is it holds a what's the data type. Okay, let's suppose if we are going to use one field, and what can be the data type for that field. Okay, and how much length we require, because see, we cannot give any number of length. Let's suppose I want to give a mobile number. Okay, so everyone knows that mobile number will be 10 digit, 12 digit, or maximum 15 digit. If people want to give thousand or hundred numbers character, right? So what happens, it will unnecessarily occupy the memory when we use that variable or that field in the programs, right? So we try to reduce as much as possible to save the memory while runtime. Okay. Now, matter I'll go later part. What is the domain? Okay. Okay, we'll go now itself. So, what is domain actually? Okay. So domain is also one of the dictionary object we call it. Okay. And what it holds is like if you are not giving this data type and length here, okay, what we can do is we can create a domain. Okay. And there we can mention the data type and what's the number of characters should be and how much should be the length. Okay. Length means let's suppose we have date, time, and date format, right? So you might have seen in the tables that date is stored as YYYYMMDD, right? But when you display in your ALB or any other report, so it comes with a dot also, right? So two dots, how it comes is because we are giving that thing in output length that okay, number of character will be 8, but output length will be 10. So the two dot will be coming as output length. Clear? And one more benefit of this value domain thing is like we can give the predefined values in value range. Okay, so let's suppose if you want to store some, like want to sell, if you're going to the selection screen, right? So that time if you want to you don't know what to fill over there. Okay, so what you can do, you can just click on F4, and that you it will show you some suggestion. Okay, these value can be filled, but this is not restricted. You can use either those values or you can give your own values. That depends on like which values we are setting up here. Okay, so that does not restrict you here. And there is one more thing available in the definition, which is called conversion routines. Okay, this also one of the parts. So if you have used it, it's better. The what is conversion routines? If you'll see here, these are nothing but a function module which we have created for these input and output part. Okay, so if you want to use that field as for an input, we can use this conversion. Okay, what it does is, if I'll say, if I'll go into the screen, okay, and execute it. If I give some number, okay, this number I have given, this is my material number. If I just execute, it is giving me the full length as output. So it should be an 18 character, because matter is 18 character material field type. So it will fill all the zeros to till 18, total character 18. So this comes handy when we are going to fetch the data from the table, or we want to display in the ALV and all those places. So this helps in the programming a lot. And what's the second one is output. So when do we use this output one? Like when we are going to display the data in system or in the ALV. So let's suppose we had values like this. Okay, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a material number. Okay, and if I'll execute, it will give me the truncated value from the main material. So it will cut the value to the main part. So that's where the conversions are being used for the field level. Okay, we'll learn that also, like how to create this conversion and all those things in coming future. So for now, we'll create a data element. So for that, what we have to do is we have to go to S11. I'll go to again. We have to select this data type, and we can give one data type. Start with Z. I'll say test and data type. Okay. Now we can click on create button. So here it asks us three options. One is data element you want to create. You want to create structure, or you want to create table type. So what are structure and table type, we'll learn in the next step after the domain, one by one. Okay, so first we'll create the data element. Okay, so now it's saying the object will be created in the origin language English, because we have logged in as a English logon, right? So we can give the short description. So I'll say data element for customer name, or we can give some meaningful name as well. I'll just go and give some meaningful name. Okay, G cust name. Okay, okay, it's already existing, so I'll say customer name. Okay, it's also available. I'll just create some okay, I'll just repeat the name. G name cast. Okay, this is not available, so we can create this one. Okay, so when do we create this? First, always check, okay, what is your requirement in the system? Okay, so let's suppose you are from such some country, and here the name can be like from India. We have like 3 to 4 words as a name, right? Like one first name, second name, third name, last name, likewise. And in some countries they have only two words of name, or some countries they have only one word of name. So that depends what kind of data type you want and what kind of program which you are going to use in. Okay, so first we search with this JCast name. So if you want to see, so they have used the character and 15, and what was their label was nothing. So if I'm going to use this data element in my reports or other programs, I will not be able to see any kind of description. What does my mean to see in description? I'll tell you an example. Okay, so if I use this field in any of the table, okay, if I want to, okay, mm, you are not able to see my screen, right? S11, okay, SE16N. Okay, if I just execute this one, so what happens if we are not giving those labeling? So here you can see this label, right? Matter name, created on, these things. So when it comes in the report format or the table maintenance generator format, it becomes blank. So we will not be able to see, okay, what is this field value are for. So this description thing does not come if we are not maintaining the label. So I will show you that as example also when we are creating the program, that how we can do that. Okay, we can give the hard coded value as well in the TMG. So let's create one of the data type or data element. So I'll just click on the create button with this name, click on OK. Now I'll say like data element for customer name. See, yesterday I told you we should always give a meaningful name over here. What it does is that if you are not able to find anything, we can just go to this table. I'll go again. If I want to search some data element, I'll say, okay, so what we do mostly is we say gcust. Okay, so if something is available, so it will come here. If it is not coming here, it will say, okay, these many are available with the customer name. But if you see here in the description, we can see all our customer name only, right? So it makes confuse for us. Like in future, if you want to leave, we have to go all the fields. So if I want to search my own, what I'll do, I'll just give a data element for customer name. And if you want to give some word also which is unique to your name, that also you can give. That's not a problem, but that does not make any sense to customer or us. This is for technical purpose only. Okay, so now we'll create one data element. So I'll say data element for customer name. So this looks like a meaningful name. Now here it says like give the domain name, or I can just, we have to give the domain name here. Okay, or we can just give the reference type, like any reference you have in the field or table or data element or structure which you want to. So if I want to use as a maintner, okay, I'll say Mara, I have one more table. Okay, I'll say I have one table called KNA1. Okay, there it's a customer table. Okay, so if I click on this, so this table will come. Okay, and sorry, here we can give this thing KUNNR. So corner is nothing but, okay, this is predefined data type. Just give me a moment. We'll give the domain itself. So elementary type will give as domain. Now what is domain? I told you domain holds the property of like what is our data type and what is the length. We can give also give predefined type, like I'll say character. Okay, and 10. So this is also allow me to save this as a customer. I'll say local object. I'll save this and maintain field level. It is asking me to maintain the field level. Why? Because if you are going to use this field in any report program or any places in the system, if it is going to display, so we have to use this thing. So what sort is like, if it is 5 character, I'll display name as name. Okay, like when we are spacing the place in the system, right? When in the reporting medium, I'll say if it is 10 characters, I'll say customer name. When I'll say 15 character, I'll say cust name again. And if I'll say 20 character space, if we are going to provide that, I'll say full name, customer name. So this much it will show when we are writing the report program and want to display in the ALV thing. Okay, so if I'll save it, it will allow me to save. Okay, now we have to activate this. So it's activated and this is ready to be used in any of the tables. So I'll just create one temporary table. G underscore customer. So this is table we are going to create. Okay, this is already existing. I'll, okay, G L, 1 second. Okay, G customer. I will give some sort description table for customer information. This I'll give as A, which we have learned yesterday. Delivery class, maintenance allowed. Okay, we'll click on the field button. Here we are going to make this table as a field client dependent. So I'll say a mandate. Data element will be a mandate itself. We'll give key and initial. If I'll give the customer, here we can give anything. See, mostly we can give name or customer name. We can give any name, it will not stop us. But as a practice, if you are using in the G table, then we should also use the G field name. So it makes sense that, okay, it's a custom field which was created. Okay, so I'll say G custom name, and this is also a key, I'll take it. Okay, and the data element which we have used. So we have created this data element. If I just click on enter, it says data element for customer name. Okay, so this is a description for this field now has become. Now if I want to save it, it will just ask give me some error, and here we can go to technical settings. Data class, I'll say ABPL 0. Size category will give the first one because we don't have much data currently. Buffering will not touch this part, and then go back and execute. We have to uh, remember this enhancement as well. So connect. We have to go to extra field, click on the enhancement category, and say it can be enhanced and copy. So we have taken care of all the settings which was required, and it gave me no syntax error. So we can just activate it. We have just missed one thing. What I'll do is I'll just add one ID part. So we'll take cut and paste. I'll create one ID also so that it makes a sense when we are going to read this table. So I'll say customer ID. I'll say numc5. Okay, and save it and activate it. Yeah. So that's how this is being created. Now we have used here the data element, right? And here I have used the predefined data type. These are predefined data type. This is we have created the data type dot data element. I'll say we have created the data element, and this is predefined data element. We can use the if this is not available, data element is not available, and functional has asked us not to create any new data element, then what we can do is if I want to add just email ID, okay, then we can click on this predefined button, and it will open us this. So it says okay, how many characters you require. So I'll say character, I'll say 15. Okay, and here only we can give the description, say email ID of customer, and we can save it. So it is saved, and we can activate this. So these are the way we can create the table, and we can assign the data element or type to the field in the table. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, now let's go to domain part. So we have one more checkbox here, domain. Okay, like I have already told you what is domain is. Domain is also an dictionary object, okay, which is used to maintain the technical properties. Technical properties means like what is the data type, okay, what is the length, what is the output length. Here, if you have seen, we have created the data type, but we don't know what is the output length it can be. Okay, how much output it will show. So it will by default take the 10 output length here. So this is 10. Okay, now we'll create a domain. So I'll say chat domain, jet, I'll say jet customer name. Same, mostly we also follow the same naming approach. Whatever the data type is, what is the with that same name we also take in the customer name, so that it does not make uh, confusion. Or also based on the business or your project, we have to follow the naming convention. Sometimes they say we have to say jet domain, likewise we have to give. Okay, so that depends like a project wise which name we should maintain. So I'll just click on this domain name. Here it says what is the data type which are going to use. Okay, so a data type, I'll say I want to use char, and number of character I'll say 15. Okay, decimal places, so in character we do not require decimal places. Okay, we forgot to give a short description. I'll say domain for customer name. Okay, now decimal places I have not given anything. Now here coming output length. So output length, either we can give 15 or we can leave length because it's a character type thing. So whatever the length of this field is, it will be visible. Okay, now it's saying output. So when we are going to display any report or in the table level, how this thing should look like. If you see here, sign right. So we, whenever we have some numerical field or like number field or currency field, so there we are writing some minus and plus signs, right? Plus does not comes, actually only minus comes. So we can so tell them, okay, sign should come on the last of that. So let's suppose we have one value which we are going to store as minus 1.25. Okay, so how it will be stored in the db in the system is in the same way, but when we are going to display in the table, it will display as 1.25 and then minus sign. So this where we can use it here. Okay, now here I set conversion routine, so it helps us to get the correct length and value for these things. So as this is a character field, so we are not going to maintain any conversion. Now here coming to the lowercase and sign, so sign we have not opted out here, right? So now coming the lowercase, so what happens, you might have seen like right now, just when I gave a small thing, right? I gave my name likewise, right? In this here, and I want to create a field domain. So what happens if I'll click on enter? See, it has automatically converted to the uppercase, right? And sometime what happens, the data which we comes we are going to store or we are going to process, does the user does not want us to make it capital, they want in the same format whatever they have sent. So for that they have given us this feasibility called lowercase. So if I just check this button, it helps us to store the value in the same format, like I, the domain name is like this, right? But how it will store now is, if we click on this, so it, if I give like this chief cust, right? So that's how the value will be stored in the table. If you do not choose this button, okay, then this will be converted automatically to name underscore cust. Okay, I did one mistake here. Yeah, so that's how the value will be displayed to you and stored in the system. So that is some user specific data or some data which we are dealing with. So mostly we use the lowercase. Generally we do not give this kind of thing. So whenever required, you can use this lower particular and sign thing. Okay, I'll give here data type is character, number of characters is 15. Okay, and short description I'll say like domain for customer name. Save it in the local, because we are not going to transport it. Value range I have not given yet, but when we are gonna work on this report program thing, so that time I will show you how this fixed value and those value comes and how we can utilize this part. Okay, properties is not required, definition we have already given, and value range is not there. Okay, so we'll just activate this, and it's got activated. Okay, now what we can do is we have given this data type here, right? So if you'll go to change mode for this data type, we had given the predefined data type. So in predefined data type, we had given the field label, we have given the length of this thing. In place of predefined data type, what we can do is now we can directly give the domain name, and it will automatically take the properties, character and 15. So here we don't have to think about it. It will automatically take, okay, and we can save it and activate it. Okay, so it says warning. I think this is being used somewhere. Okay, adjustment of activity operand. So why we have received this error? No, because earlier the data type was different and what we have given is different. So we have created this table, okay, and the customer name was 15, and we use this thing. So now what we have to do is we have to go to one T code called SE14. Okay, SE14. Okay, here we can give this our table name. Okay, click on edit button, and we can click on this activate and adjust table. So once we do it, it will allow us to use that table in forward. So it will say successfully. Now we will not get any error while accessing the data. Every time we are performing any data type change, any length change or anything, we have to adjust the table in the SE14 T code. Just give me a moment, guys. Okay. So this is where we have with the domain and customer name. Okay. Now, any doubt till here? Anyone? You can unmute yourself and just speak. So that will help me to tell more in depth if required.
No, sir.
No, sir.
It's all clear, right?
Yeah.
Better. Okay. Now we will move to the next object, which is, I'll say, okay, data type itself. Okay. So in data type, when we were creating, right, we saw total three option was there. So the other option was structure. The next step was table type, right? So what are structure and what are table type? So first we'll go with the structure. So I'll just give one meaningful name, chat, test, structure. Okay, it's already exist. Okay, okay. So we have seen, we have created a table, right? With the one sec. We have created this table called G customer one. Okay, and we gave three field here for just customer ID, customer name, and email ID, right? And what we can do is like if we are in program and we want to access this table, we have to tell okay that we are going to create one temporary table, and we have to tell okay it's a type of this table. Okay, but what we can do is I'll just display and I can copy, create table type, structure, and here, yeah. So what is table type and what is structure? So see, table type we can see later. First, what is table and what is structure actually? So table is uh, it's collection of field, okay, and when we store it, and we can store the data in the table. But structure, we do not store any table or data or any kind of data in the structure. In tables, we can have indexes, so indexes will come in future. Okay, if you have idea, it's good part. And structure does not require any kind of indexes because we are not going to retrieve any kind of data from the structure. We are always going to access the table. Structure are just a replica of that table. Okay, and we yesterday saw there was one case called delivery and maintenance. Okay, so delivery and maintenance. Can someone just answer me which delivery class we have used yesterday for the table or today? Delivery.
A.
Sorry, kindly answer.
Delivery class A.
A, right? Yeah. So
It's
table.
application table, right, sir?
Sorry.
A for application table, right?
Yes, and the other thing, maintenance. We said maintenance are allowed, right?
Yeah.
But for structure, this is not required at all. That we have to give delivery and maintenance because we are not going to maintain any kind of structure or data inside that. So we just want the table thing. Okay, and the last part I'll say is, see here, there is no requirement to give the primary key. But in the table, when we are creating, at least one primary key should be there in the table. Otherwise, how thing will be moved? Like we will not be able to store this primary data, or I'll say better data. Data will be inconsistent or repetitive, right? So at least one primary key should be there in the table level. So those are the main difference which we have. Okay. So we'll create one structure. I'll say like structure for customer information. Okay. And we mostly see if we have already created the table, then there is no requirement to create the same thing again here. Okay. But I'm just showing you just example. So here we have three options. One is types, one is type reference to, and this one I have not used. I think you might have also not seen somewhere. So ref type is directly allocating the field of that type, num_c. But if you are referring to some field, we are just giving as a pointer that it will be referred to this kind of table. Okay, so I'll say component type. So what is going to come here in the component type? We are going to search for data element. I'll say this is customer IDs, right? So I'll just search say NAMC5. Okay, so it came as 5 character numerical value. Here the customer name is, I'll say customer 20. I'll say you can use, okay, or you can use the data element which we have created. So G cust, what was the name underscore cust. Okay, so it came automatically that this is being taken from the character 15, and this is the element for customer name. Email ID we have not taken and created any data elements for that, so we can use a predefined thing is, so I'll just say character 20. Okay, so that's how we can create one structure. We can check if any error comes, and here you are not able to see the technical setting or delivery or maintenance setting over here, right? So this is all required, and if somewhere we are using currency and quantity field, then that time we have to give the reference field, so which you might already be knowing because working. Otherwise we can use it when we are going to see the report programs, so that time we'll see how to maintain currency and quantity fields. So that is very much required. So I'll just activate it with this button. Okay, warning occurs. Let's see. It will say enhancement is not done. Okay. Okay. So it is saying enhancement is required, like, because in future if you want to add one or two more field over here, or want to add multiple fields or many fields. So for that enhancement should be there. Otherwise it will not allow us to do the enhancement in future. So we can just click on that and say can be enhanced deep, and save it and activate it. So now it's activated. Okay. Now if I'll say, okay, so this is one of the part. Okay, next part, so this is what we call it as structure, and it is being used why we are creating this is so that we can use it in globally in multiple programs. See, we can create the structure in the program itself. So how we can create is, if I'll go to, one sec guys, so I'll just give it as a type so that it's easy to understand. Okay, if I'll go to this program SC38, I'll say G test structure. I'm creating this program. Okay, then test program for structure understanding. Okay, I'll say type is executable. Click on save, store it in local object. So how we can use this? See what happens if you are going to use the some higher some multiple fields in the table. We have to give like types. Then we have to create it locally here. Begin of ty underscore. I'll say customer name. Okay, and then we have to give the field here. Okay, so I'll just remove this part, click on comma, 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 and here end of ty customer name, and close it. See this, this is also a structure. Okay, this we have created locally and can only be utilized in this program. Okay, so how we can do is, now we have to create the table. So how we can create the table is data I lt underscore table type table of this one. So all the fields which is there in this table is now we can access these field with this in this table, and this will be, there will be 3 field created in this table, and we can create a work area as well. Okay, so I'll say lw table, I'll say local work area. For now I will be giving meaningful name going forward. I'll set like line of like. So we have already given this thing, so I'll just say here and then save it. So if I'll save it and execute it, it will not give me any error. So now directly we have created a local structure and we have used in the table. The other way could have been, I can just directly go to data and lt underscore, I'll say table1 type table of, and now we have already created this structure in the program, right? So can anyone say what was the name of the structure? Okay, we'll search it. So I'll just go SC11. So this was a type data type, right? Jet is structure one. So we can directly use this SC in the program. So that is, this part is local and this is being used from the global so that it can be multi-use or it can be reused. So if I'll just keep this and customer use it, now it is not giving any syntax error to me. So it means that I can use it in my program. So if you want to see this, so all three fields will be used in this table. And if you see this, it is allowing me to go here. So this is all from the table structure, data element, and domain. So this much we have covered. So any doubt till here, we'll be stopping it. And sorry, just give me a moment.